Hi, it's me, Brian Ramsey again. This is part 2 of my Tyneside Joiners instructional video. So we've measured twice and cut once, and this is what I've come up with in terms of setting up the final piece. What's clear from cutting it all out and joining it the way I want to join it is I can see where some of the overlaps are quite deep and some are quite shallow. As I got towards the end of the piece, I don't know whether I was rushing to finish on the day, but there's not as much of an overlap in the individual pieces. So I think that's probably just going to be a butt joint there rather than any kind of overlap. Some of these overlaps you can see you could probably join together with double-sided tape. But I think what I'm going to do is use low-tack painter's masking tape to join them on the front and then turn them over and use picture framing tape or possibly the invisible mending tape on the back to join them, and then see how structurally what the structural integrity is like, whether I can actually move it around. Then I might actually decide to put some of the invisible mending tape on the front and see what that looks like. When I've done some rough sketches on detail paper and the like, sometimes I join them together with masking tape to show clients before I do finished pieces. Quite often I'll give them those the rough cartoons with the finished piece because they quite like to see the thought process. And quite often they'll frame that with all the tape and the notes and everything else on it. Looks quite cool. So I might try and do that with the joiner as well. But I'm going to see how structurally intact it is when I just tape the back. So now what I'm going to do is quickly low tack the front, just with small pieces of the low tack tape. This should peel off quite easily because it's it's like photo paper, as I said. Try and get them to overlap on joints so you can actually lift it and turn it over quite easily. I struggled with this on the day because it was blowing quite windy in the afternoon and I didn't have that much tape, so I struggled to keep it in one piece. Ended up putting tape right across the front, which looked a bit odd, and I think the judges thought I was a bit nuts, but hey ho. So quickly joining that all together. And you can see some of the overlaps have kind of left the white underneath, but I think it's all part of the nature of it. You can also see that it's not going to be, it's not a straight line of cards. It does veer up and down, which again, once that's in a frame and in a nice mount, should look quite cool. Probably on a floating mount if you've got a professional frame out and do that kind of thing. The other thing as well is once you put it in a frame and you've maybe got glass over the top of it, it's not so critical that these bits lift up because they'll be pinned down by the glass. So the invisible mending tape you wouldn't necessarily need. So nearly finished that. Just 2 more pieces to stick together. And as I said in the first video, trial and error in terms of fit. You can see there are, some of them fit together. Every time I've done this, I've probably done it in a slightly different way each time. I've taken cues from bits that clearly join together and try and make it so it flows through. This whole bit at the end with the Millennium Bridge over the Tyne, the bridge obviously opened up part way through. I try to capture the fact that the bridge is, it's not always just a simple arch. So it probably doesn't look like the bridge looks normally, but I like the complexity of it. So this one at the end, this one really is just pretty much a simple butt joint, which, possibly a bit of a shame, but I didn't want to redo it because, these were all done on the day. I wanted to keep true to the idea I had. Right, so that's all of those pinned together, or taped together. So I should be able to lift those up and turn them over. Whoop, almost. And yeah, that's quite good. So there you can see the backs of the cards. You can see lost a lot of the numbers. You can see where I've trimmed. So now It's just a question of deciding what tape to use. So I'm going to go in with the invisible mending tape just because I've got more of that than my framing tape, and just literally stick the backs of these down. Of course, this isn't going to be seen when it's framed, so you can overlap to your heart's content. Tape on a machine is a lot quicker than peeling it off with your teeth or using scissors. Oop, there you go. Obviously I'm rushing to do this so that the video doesn't end up being as long as Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind. Last one. Right, that's that. So let's see how. It's obviously going to be a lot more rigid because it's got the tape on the front. So if we peel that off, be careful. It's low tack, it shouldn't peel off any of the card. Feels like it's sticking a lot more than I would expect it, so be very careful, and certainly don't use anything, like a regular sellotape or regular masking tape. Use the low tack. Yeah, that's peeling. Oh, pulled a bit there. Shouldn't really be scrunching this up, I should be saving it. There. Regretting putting quite so much tape on it now, but it just meant it was easier to turn it over and manoeuvre it around. And there you go, everything revealed and joined together. That's not too bad. I think that would frame okay. If I was going to leave it out, I think I'd be inclined to put the invisible tape over it. We'll just do that now and we'll see what it looks like. Just run a little trial run there. Probably try and avoid the detail. But if we put that in there, actually that disappears quite well. That's not bad at all. It's being true to its name, invisible tape. Quite like that. So good, I nearly did the same one twice there, I couldn't see the other tape. pressing that down quite hard so it disappears. You can see where it sticks really well. And there you go. You see how much more stable that is. That's great. You can actually hold that up. Hold it up. And that's it. That's it done. That's ready to be framed. Obviously needs a nice long frame. Get that in and get it up on the wall. Thanks for watching. Take care.